Hey guys, welcome to the Travis Yarbrough Show. Today we've got the honor of having Zane West with Primetime Fitness. How's it going, Zane?
Going all right, man. Can't complain at all, man. Overly blessed as always.
Love it. Well, glad to have you on today.
Oh yeah.
If you don't mind, bro, just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself.
So from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Fort Smith, Van Buren, I guess. Always been back and forth. One side of the family's from Van Buren, one side of the family's from Fort Smith. So always going back and forth. But yep, I'm from here, 479.
Nice. I'm the exact same way. My dad's side was always from Van Buren, and I grew up in Fort Smith. So my weekends were spent in Van Buren, my holidays in
Yep.
Van Buren. And I live in Van Buren now, but
Yep.
it's
Yep. That's
nice.
pretty much me right there, man. We're at Granny's house in Van Buren on the weekends, stay in Fort Smith during the week.
Love it. Where'd you go to school at?
I went to school everywhere. So I went to, I think by the time I graduated high school, I've been to 14 or 15 different schools.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was always everywhere. So I went to all the Van Buren schools, all the Fort Smith schools, moved to Oklahoma City for a little bit. So yeah, I went to everywhere. But I graduated from Van Buren
Nice. Nice. What year?
2018. Getting old,
2018.
man. It's almost 10-year anniversary. It's crazy, man. I'm getting old.
Tri class of 2001.
Over 20 years ago.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. What you're doing with the fitness. Super proud of how far you've came, man. I've been watching you for a while, and just let people know.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been doing fitness coaching for a while now. I've been at it for almost 7 years. It's just like anything else. You start something, over time it grows. I'm at the point now where, I'm doing it at the very highest level. So, of course, bodybuilding too. I compete. So just both of those things, overall, just fitness. So, we're doing it at the highest level now.
Nice. What do you think sets you apart from other fitness instructors?
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to bring to the table that you feel like others don't?
Couple things. So number one, just like the knowledge. Like when it comes to knowledge, I mean, there's different levels of knowledge with anything. Me, I feel like I do it at the highest level. Like, you have your regular personal trainers in person and you go and you do your workouts and things like that. But me, I understand everything from, doing the training and nutrition and supplementation at the highest level, but also just like hormones and, the inner workings of the body. So most people don't understand that. And to do that at the highest level, you have to. Because at the end of the day, you can go to Planet Fitness and work with a personal trainer, but if your testosterone levels are in the toilet or your growth hormone or your thyroid function, stuff like that isn't where it needs to be, you're fighting an uphill battle. You're basically putting in the work for no reason. So someone like me that does that at a really high level, I understand those things. And that's what sets me apart.
I like it. So some things like I've always kind of not struggled with, but I know what works for my body. So, and we all know that some things, everyone's body's different.
Yep.
How do you go about finding out, you know, what's correct for what individual, like
Yeah, definitely.
what their needs are?
Yeah, definitely, and that's a big part of it too. When you learn over time, just how things work. Someone might respond better to higher carbs in their diet. Someone might respond better to higher fats. It's always kind of trying things, see what happens, and that's how you kind of figure out someone's body. So it's kind of a process. Like when I work with clients, I'll tell them, hey, these first 2-3 weeks, I'm figuring out what works best for you. And then after that, I make the necessary adjustments and then we're rocking and rolling. We're seeing really quick changes. So, yeah, just kind of trying things and seeing what works. And then with me, I look at blood work and things like that. So I can look at the blood work and tell, okay, his body operates this way, and that helps me make the plan, 100%. So,
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that, as the book says, our body is our temple.
yep,
And we fail to give our bodies the attention that it really deserves.
yep,
And what I'm learning is from all high achievers is most high achievers are looking great,
yeah, yeah,
strong
yeah,
because you have to work on your body
yep,
and we don't. We show it shame. You've got a lot of people with drug and alcohol problems
yep,
and what have you, and not taking care of their body. And I've been one to, I start working so hard and using the excuse of, well, I'm working so much. It's so hard to get to the gym.
Yep.
You know, like we were just talking a minute ago, I was back at it really good. And now the last 2 weeks, I've really failed at it. And it's like the way I am is if I can get 2 or 3 good weeks in the gym, then I'm to the point to where I have to go every day.
Yep. Yep.
But once I get a week or two not going, it's like starting all over again. And it's so hard to go.
Get back in that rhythm.
Exactly. Like I got the stuff in my truck right now, and I say I'm going today, but am I?
Yeah.
You know, what do you have anything that you could speak on that, like that could motivate or help people to make them more focused on going?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I know what you're saying. So it's like, you know, kind of like you said, the first 2-3 weeks, like if you can get in there 2 to 3 weeks, then you're good. And that's the main thing. It's the first 2 to 3 weeks of, you know, building that habit and getting in there that you really have to kind of fight through and really, you know, be disciplined to get through that. Because once you get the rhythm down, you're going, you know, what they say, like it takes 21 days to build a habit or whatever the case is. That's really what it is, you know, and I tell clients that too. Like, hey, once you get past these first 2 to 3 weeks, like you're not going to be able to not do it. You know what I mean? So it's really just getting past that. You know, obviously having like a set routine helps a lot. So, you know, I have guys that they have a problem with consistency, and then when they have a direct plan to follow, you know, it's a lot easier. You know, okay, I'm training these days, I'm resting these days, you know, I'm eating this food, you know, whatever the case is. So it's a lot easier for them to stick to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a shot for sure.
Yeah, you gotta get with me, man.
Because I've definitely got some struggles in. I know what works for me, but then I go in there and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And if I'm lazy that day, you know, I might skip and do arms instead of legs, or you know, and I'm not doing things correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like you could help me a lot in getting myself back right, because now at, you know, 42, almost 43 years old, I'm ready to get in shape. And I mean, at the lake and stuff, man, I see some 50, 60, 70-year-olds, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, just ripped up, looking great.
Hey,
but that's what it's going to take for long life and longevity, because if you're not healthy, you know, and I've noticed, man, I feel so much better when I'm working out, when I'm, you know, even with cardio, man, because I do like cardio, and I feel like it's important.
Yep.
Let me ask you this, because I get a lot of people that are back and forth on this. I personally have always went in and did my cardio first and then went into my workout.
Yeah.
But then I've got a lot of guys that will, like, you know, because everyone in the gym, they know everything. So they're going to come up.
Yeah.
You know those guys that come up and say, hey,
For
man,
sure.
have you tried this? Or maybe you should, you know, I noticed your form. It's not there.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely not me, because I'm sure my form's not perfect. But what are some things, how do you feel about cardio, and are you one that like it before or after your workout?
So,
Or even different day?
yeah. So for me, it's either you do it fasted in the morning and then you train later in the day, or after workout. If you're doing like more intense cardio. So like if you're doing like a 10-minute warm up, you know, do that before the workout.
That's really
good.
what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's
my
good.
cardio.
You want to do that before the workout. It'll get the blood flowing. It'll kind of wake you up a little bit, get some serotonin going. But if you're doing like your actual, like, okay, I'm doing an hour of cardio, you want to do that after your workout, because if you do it before, it's going to lower your strength output. And, you know, I always tell everybody, we always want to prioritize weight training, because if we can build more muscle, it's going to be a lot easier to lose fat, a lot easier to stay leaner. You know, you're able to eat more food and still stay leaner. So we always want to prioritize that weight training. So you don't want to do a full cardio session before, or it will, you know, decrease your strength output. You're not going to be as strong during your workout.
I like it. So you just said something. You just brought up serotonin.
Yeah.
So for people struggling with anxiety and depression,
Best thing you can do.
it's the best thing you can do. So serotonin, it starts sending on. It'll send shots to you, and that's actually what calms and stops anxiety and depression.
Yep. Exactly.
So working out actually does fix and help anxiety and depression in a major way.
It outperforms any, you know, drugs, any pharmaceuticals by almost 10 times.
Same thing with
training.
blood pressure.
Yep.
I battle blood pressure. And here's another thing is like I was on 100 milligram blood pressure medicine, and just after 3 months of me working out, they dropped me to 50.
Yep.
Right now, I do have really good blood pressure readings, and I never have in my entire life. I've always ran super high.
Yeah.
And when I say super high, I'm talking like for 10 years, I went running stroke level.
Oh
You
man.
know, like I've just got really high blood pressure in my family.
Yeah.
And now that my levels are where they need to be, all my veins are stretched from that high. So now I always feel kind of down and tired
Yeah.
because my body's not, it's used to functioning on that high level. And now it's, you
Yeah.
know, back where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling just absolutely phenomenal. You know, as I've talked about on the show a few times, I went several months and several of my shows to where I was just had a lot of anxiety, and now like I'm just feeling so good. So I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a position now to where I just really want to focus on my body. That's why a big thing is getting you on here is people don't talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't
No,
talk
they
about
don't.
working out. They don't talk
Especially
about how important it
we're in the
is.
South, man. Like it's funny because anytime I go somewhere else, like I remember I went to Denver, like the first time I kind of went anywhere, and I remember going to Target and there for like 30 minutes, and I was like, man, I haven't seen one person that's overweight. Like everybody's in shape here, and it just kind of threw me off. In the South, we eat good, man. We got good food, so
Yes, we do.
it's rough even for me. I'm the competitive bodybuilder. It's still like, man, I like to eat food, so. But yeah, man, it makes such a big difference, especially for people like you run a business and, people that have hard labor jobs, whatever the case is, just staying in shape makes everything easier. And, just like the energy level is a big one too. Like I talk to a lot of, just successful men and, how they do their diet is different because they want to have the most energy possible. And I work with a lot of guys, CEOs, business owners, things like that. So we tailor their diet in a way that they're gonna have the most energy throughout the day.
See, and that's what I need too. I've tried a few things. Like I just started trying frog fuel. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about things like that? What I do like about it is it's in a small pouch and it's super easy to take
Yeah.
instead of drinking big protein.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with frog fuel?
I've seen it. I've seen it before. Is it a protein supplement?
Yeah, so I get the energy, the protein supplement,
Yeah.
and one other one as well, and I'll show them to you of what I just started. But
Okay, cool.
that's always been my thing is a lot of the pre-workouts, man, just wire me up so bad.
Yeah,
man, like
yeah.
little needles poking in me.
Yeah, the beta alanine.
And that's what I just don't really care for that.
Yeah.
But just looking at ways as we get older on how to get more energy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So supplementation is really good. The B vitamins and things like that, of course, they're going to help. A lot of people are just, the reason their energy isn't good, they eat a lot of saturated fat, processed carbs and stuff like that. That's going to release glucose. It's like, Thanksgiving, everybody eats their Thanksgiving food and then everybody knocks out after. It's just that glucose release, that saturated fat. So, staying away from that, like at least throughout the day when you're working and you have things to do, you'll be way more productive. Me, like being a competitive bodybuilder in the off season, food gets super high. And I hate it. Like I tell people I'd rather diet to death than to eat all the food because I'm constantly lethargic. My body's constantly releasing glucose. So, if you want to have more energy, cleaning up your diet, just staying away from carbs, saturated fat throughout the day makes a huge difference too. And caffeine is good. Like, people always talk down on caffeine. People that drink caffeine, they live longer lives. They're more productive.
Wow.
You just don't want to go too crazy with it, just like anything. You got to stay under that 400 milligrams a day.
Wow, I've never realized that.
Yeah.
Never even thought about that.
Yeah.
At all. So with your plans, when you say someone reaches out to you, how does your plans go from start to finish? First of all, how do we reach out to you?
Yeah.
And then tell us kind of what you do. Is
Yeah.
there different like levels?
Yeah, so no, my coaching is all one-on-one. There's no different levels. It's all the same thing for everybody. Because with me, like I want to be able to, handle every single aspect, from the training, nutrition, supplementation, the hormone optimization. The people that work with me, I like them to get blood work done, see where everything's at. So I handle every single aspect of it. Most people reach out to me like on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. I'm pretty much everywhere. But yeah, really the process is just, figuring out, what the ultimate goal is, first, like what is your ultimate goal? What do you want to look like? You know, with me, you know, some people come to me, or, you know, I just want to be a little healthier and look a little better.
Yeah.
But with my coaching, like, we do everything at the highest level. So like we can completely transform you. You know, I got guys in their 50s and 60s that we get in the best shape of their life. They're in better shape than they were in college and high school. So, you know, my coaching process, everything I do, you know, is through a platform, a coaching platform, allows me to track everything extremely well. So like how you said earlier, like, you know, you're supposed to train legs, but you'll go in and do arms. If you try to do that, it's going to let me know on the platform. I can see exactly what you're doing. It tells me how long you're in the gym, how long your workout took. You have to log your training. So you have to log the amount of weights, the amount of reps you're doing, you know,
So
all that
lots of
good stuff. So
accountability.
yeah, a lot of accountability. It lets me know everything. So that's another thing when people check in with me every week, I'm going to go look at everything. And I'm like, hey, why, you know, this workout was only 26 minutes. You know, what happened right here? You know, so people stick to it. But, you know, it's all done through a platform. It's where your nutrition is. As far as, you know, diet, I lay everything out exactly how it needs to be, to the gram, every meal. You know, the training, it's all done through the platform. You know, the platform is really good because not only do you track everything and I can see everything, it's got video examples showing you how to do the exercises. So that helps out a lot. You know, a lot of clients, they'll send me training videos and things like that, you know, because I have clients everywhere. I have clients in different countries, you know, different states, you know, and we're still able to get crazy transformations and results. And I actually like it better than in-person training because with the in-person, when I used to do that, you know, they might do 3 sessions a week. You know, this, you know, I'm covering every day. And then, you know, someone's 20 minutes late and then now the workout ends up being 25 minutes. You know, that happens a lot. So it's a lot more consistent. But my clients send me weekly check-ins, photos, body weight, blood pressures, something I have them plug in. There's a place on the app for that as well. It's gonna let me know how much water you drank, how many steps you got in. It's extremely effective.
That's one thing I've been working on. So I would come into work and drink like 3 or 4 cups of coffee,
Yeah.
and then not eat or drink anything until I got home.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now, as you see, I've got water.
Yep.
I'm drinking tons and tons of water, man, and it's making me feel so much better.
Oh yeah.
Same thing
Oh,
with
yeah.
anxiety. Water kills anxiety, is what I'm saying. I don't know what it is about it, but that's been a huge thing for me. What's it cost to get set up with you?
Yeah, so basically I have 2 options. It's really like the longer you commit to, the cheaper it is type of deal. So one of my options, $400 a month, one's $291 a month. So that's the prices, and they'll only go up over time. So, you know, we have over 400 successful transformations at this point. You know, I get a lot of inquiries, man. I probably have 6 phone consultations a day at this point. So the prices will only go up. They're definitely not going to go down. So I tell everybody, you know, because I have people reach out and they're like, okay, man, well, I'm going to get with you here in a couple months. And they reach out in a couple months and the prices have gone up.
So what you're saying is once you get signed up, are you grandfathered in at that price?
Yeah. You get to keep
Cool.
your pricing. So I have clients, I tell them all the time they're robbing me because, you know, they got with me 3 years ago. They've been with me for a long time. So, you know, they barely pay much of anything when they re-sign, you know what I mean? But, you know, so yeah,
That's
you
cool,
get your
though,
grandfathered in.
because they got you started. It's
Yeah,
cool
no,
that-
100%. No, I joke with them about it, but yeah, you know, I've had guys that have been with me for 3-4 years at this point. So
So is the 261 if you sign up for a year?
291, but yeah,
291?
291's for monthly for a year.
I tried to get a $30 discount.
Yeah, the 400 is for 6 months. So, you know, I do 6 months, I do a year at this point, and the level I do it at, you know, like the month to month strictly, all that, it's really not worth it for me. And it takes time to, you know, reach that ultimate goal. You know, so if I have someone sign up for 1 month, it's like, you know, we can do something in 1 month, but it's not going to be the ultimate goal we're looking for.
And then they're probably gonna fall off. After
Yeah,
that
and that's the thing too, is like whenever I used to do like there was no commitment, you know, people don't really stick with it because they're not really investing much in themselves. When people actually invest in themselves, they're gonna follow through
when
with
you're
it.
paying, when it's coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, same thing when I used to, you know, when I first started out, I was charging like $100 a month or $150 a month. Barely anyone would ever stick to it. You know what I mean? They're just not investing enough in themselves to, you know, it's like I
Those are
said, it's
facts,
$100 bucks,
man.
you know, I'll just, you know, do whatever. When those prices went up, I started noticing, oh, people are sticking to the plan. We're getting great results now. So, you know, those people that invest in themselves and they have to do it for a longer period of time, they're going to get their money's worth. So it just works out way better.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a mentor basically tell me that in the beginning, like, you know, I was telling him what I was charging. He was like, yeah, bro. He's like, you're charging that. No one's going to take it serious. And I thought at the time, well, if I charge cheaper, I'll get, you know, more people to sign up, you know? And it just always ended up being a waste of time because they would never follow through with it.
1,000%.
Wouldn't invest in themselves enough.
You get what you pay for, man.
And that too. So I've had a lot of clients that, you know, they'll, it's probably like 3 in the last couple months. Hey man, I'm going to go with this other guy, man. He's, you know, he's cheaper. See how it goes. And I'm always like, all right, man, I'll see you back here in about a month. Every time they text me, yeah, man, I'm going to get with you. And they're like, man, you know, a couple of weeks later, like this is way different, bro. Like you definitely get what you pay for.
1,000%.
And it's like, don't cheap out on your health. You know, like that's the one thing you shouldn't cheap out on.
It's our bodies.
Yeah.
I deal with it in my industry. We're not the cheapest. I don't want to be the cheapest. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, if we lose a job to someone else, we're there months later fixing it.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
it's, you know, that's big on me. So obviously, I know, you know, you love your God.
Yep.
This is a big faith-based show. Where are you at with that? Do you bring that into what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, man, like when I started, you know, getting close to God and living my life according to God, everything, including like my coaching and just how I go about it, everything changed. You know, my clients tell me all the time, like, man, like, you know, you could tell like you have a genuine passion for this and, you know, like really helping us. And before that, before I got close to God and started living my life in that way, I wasn't really leading it with love. You know what I mean? Like it was business, strictly business. So now I lead it more with love, and my clients feel that. And doing that like 10x my business.
That's awesome.
So you know that's a huge thing. When I started living my life according to that, everything just got better. You know, people ask me, well, you know, about success and getting to the next level and things like that, and I'm like, man, you got to give God a chance, bro. Like that's the main thing I can tell you. Like I can tell you, you know, these tips and this and that, but it wasn't until I started getting close to God and living my life in that accordance that things started getting better. And I tell people, like, even if you don't believe in God, like when you have questions or you're stuck or whatever the case is, like go look for the answers in the Bible.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't believe it, watch. You start doing it and you'll see
It'll
that it works.
transform your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then by that point, you're like, man, everything the Bible's telling me to do is working. And then you start believing. So
Absolutely. I mean, the book is the truth. That's one thing I've been focusing on a lot, and I've spoke on it a few times, but I've been doing it even more, is just listening. I'm more of a listener than a reader, but listen to the word constantly, way more and more. Even from last show, like now, every time I've kind of put music to the side right now and just kind of focusing on, you know, each trip, another chapter.
Yep.
And then I try to focus on that chapter and try to understand it. And I am starting to understand things that I used to not understand when I would read it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a listener too. I'm like they call it like an iPad kid. That's me. I constantly have something playing on my phone 24/7. So I'm definitely a listener. I'll read here and there, but I really don't comprehend it as well if I listen to it.
Do you use a Bible app?
Yeah, so I use the Bible app.
The Holy Bible app?
Yep.
Cool.
I'll use that one, and then I'll listen to just a lot of YouTube things, devotions and things like that. You know, I'll listen to.
Nice. So I use the Bible app too, and what's so cool about the Bible app, and I kind of want to show you guys, that way you kind of understand exactly which app it is. And I'll have Braden put it up on the screen. As well, what we're going to do is put up on the screen for you, Zane, for how they can just get straight to you.
Cool.
And all your information as well. So with the Bible app, there's different ways. Like you can either listen to the Bible or you can listen to it in messages, which I've been listening to the messenger side because it's speaking to you. It's not. It's talking about the Bible verse, but it's speaking to me in a way that I can understand. So it's actually, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But man, it's huge for me. But a lot of times I'll turn around and go back and then actually listen to the actual word, and it just brings everything into me.
Yeah.
Into my heart, my soul, and to where I can remember it. I've always had a bad memory, and it's just difficult. Like I'll sit there and read, and just don't even understand what I'm reading.
Yeah,
I read the book when I was down. I read the book from start to finish, and got through it, and could only tell you a couple Bible verses.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So I'm trying to slow it down. You know, we're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
You know, God's listening. He's there every day, all day.
Yep.
So just been like trying to focus on slowing down and just listen to small parts at a time so I can really take them in.
Yeah, when I read, man, when I try to read the Bible, man, I'll read it and I'll be like, what did I get out of that? Like I really, it's hard for me to comprehend it. Like we do Bible study and we'll all read, then we'll just talk about it and we all get different things every time. So things like that, tools like that, I think are a big thing. Because when I first started, I was like, okay, just trying to, figure out how to get into it and learn more and just have that daily thing and just trying to read. I'm like, man, I'm really not understanding this, so you got to kind of figure that out too.
Absolutely. You got anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything at all?
I would say, I'll ask you. So I always say too, like a lot of people ask about business and just like entrepreneurship. I tell them like it's a spiritual journey more than anything. I think that's a big part too. Is like you have to have a lot of faith, when it comes to business because you take risk. And I went to church one day and I was really thinking about investing into a mentorship at the time, and it was like $10,000. And I'm like, man, I have it, but I don't have it. You know what I mean? Like this, if I invest this, it's, I'm going to be down a little bit, and went to church that day and the whole thing was risk. And he said, you got to replace that word with faith.
Absolutely.
So for you, I would ask like the spiritual journey of it. Like what would you say is like, how to ask this? I don't know, just like spiritually, what do you feel like the entrepreneur?
I get what where you're coming from, and I'm going to kind of start from the beginning of my success, because that was a big thing. I put it all on myself.
Yeah.
So every day I was completely stressed out because we got a big payroll, and you got to.
Yeah.
It's every Friday everybody's got to get paid, and when we put it on ourselves, it's super heavy.
Yep.
So that's what I was doing. Is I was always, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And you do have to have faith. I mean, I always say I've got a couple of sayings. One, scared money don't make no money.
Yep.
You're just going to be sitting there. There's never a good time to jump out. You've got to jump out.
Yeah, you got to jump out.
My other is no risk it, no biscuit.
Yep. 100%.
So I mean, if you're not willing to take risks, then you're just not really set up for this. It is extremely difficult, man.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of new stuff going on that's going to put me out there. I've spoke about it before about being paid for. I have no personal debt other than a couple of little properties I've got with my brother. Everything else, stainless, is paid for. All my stuff is paid for. And I'm about, I'm looking at some things right now where I'm about to jump out there again.
Yeah.
When I said I never was.
Yeah.
But getting comfortable is never going to get you to where you really want to be.
Worst thing you can do.
And with me is, I've even had people say, well, when's enough? When's enough? Well, when is God's love enough?
Yeah.
I want it all. I want all of his love. And the more money that I can make, the more people I can help.
Exactly.
You can't help people without money.
Exactly.
You get a lot of people that are very jealous and hateful, and and they feel like, well, like I said a second ago, when's enough? What's enough? When are you going to be happy? Well, I'm going to be happy when God tells me that when he lets me in them gates, that's when I'm going to be happy. So I'm going to give and do whatever I can and follow. I just talk to him so much, man. He leads me.
Yeah.
He really does.
Exactly.
But man, if you don't have faith in business, you're going to die of a heart attack.
Yeah, dude.
Because you can't put this on.
Yeah.
You can't put it on him.
I don't understand. Like, that's why a lot of, like, dude, there's a lot of guys out there that they make millions of dollars and they're miserable. And it's because they put it all on themselves.
Absolutely.
Like you said, like that's I've seen that a lot. I always wanted to avoid that and mitigate that as much as possible. But I mean, I just figured out they're putting it all on themselves. They don't have God, they don't have anyone else leading them. They just lead themselves.
Absolutely.
So
God tells us he will provide.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean, every single time we get low in submittal drawings or we don't have enough money on the books.
Yep.
I pray and it comes.
Yep. Every time.
I can't. It's just facts. It's just truth.
Yeah.
It just comes, and I'm just starting to learn to be relaxed and chill because You know, if you think out in the future for yourself, if you say, well, I've got this many people now, well, what if I don't have this many people next year? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about next year.
Exactly.
We just need to, there's a little saying next to my keyboard in my office that says, do something today better than you did yesterday. And as long as you do that every day,
Yep.
you're going to get better every single day.
Yeah.
And as long as you're getting better every single day, you're going to grow every day. There's not, Andy, I always forget his last name, but yeah, exactly. He says it. It's impossible to fail if you put in everything that you have every single day.
Yep.
It's impossible to fail.
Yep.
Never seen anyone fail.
I've never seen anyone
their
fail.
all
Yeah.
every single day, all day.
I've never
It's
seen anyone
impossible to
fail that does it. Nope.
But it's so hard to do that.
Yep.
You know, and I've went through, you know, I got comfortable when I paid this place off. I got super comfortable, and I'm like, man, I got it paid off now. I got money in the bank. I'm straight now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to chill for a little bit. So we buy a lake house. We end up spending a whole summer at the lake. And 6 months later, I don't have any work.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
And I'm like, so it was a huge, hard lesson for me.
Yep.
That I had to go right back into sales and right back into, oh, what are we going to do? Because what happens is when we take breaks, you're not going to feel it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going to feel it 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road, and it's going to hurt.
I learned that lesson too, man, the hard way. Like it was over a year ago. I had like my first, like I had like a $20,000 month, and I busted my butt, got that. I was like, okay, I'm good now, man. And I kind of just started getting comfortable, just kind of resting. Before I know it, I look up and man, I barely got any money. And I'm like, man, now I'm scrambling to get it back going. And I was like, yeah, never again. Never. Like my wife would be like, why don't you take a break today? No, you know, well, you can rest a little bit. No, I'm not resting. You know, we're going to keep it pushing. And, you know, I think like you mentioned, like, you know, just the jealousy and the envy from other people. You know, I was asked like, how do you navigate that? For me, I'm still learning a lot of things. You know, I learned, you know, a big thing for me is just like protecting my energy. Like I rarely answer the phone now to people because I'm like, you know, okay, this person's not going to add anything to my life. They either need something, want to vent about something, or, you know, something's going on with them, whatever. And I'm just to the point now where like, man, if it's going to be beneficial, if it's going to be spiritually uplifting or whatever, I don't even answer the phone anymore for people.
Same. I'm a big texter.
Yeah, texting. Yeah. If it's textable, don't call me.
Well, one thing too is I tell people this all the time is when people get on the phone with you, they want to talk to you for 30, 40 minutes. Well,
yeah.
If I answer every phone call, I'm not going to get anything done today.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, one thing, reaching back to what you said in your question, man, honestly, used to every single harmful thing someone would say to me, I took it straight to heart. I put a lot of pressure on myself saying, you know, what can I do to make them not feel this way about me?
Yeah.
And now I'm to the point to where I don't really care what people have to say, man. I know my family's happy. I know my employees are happy. My business is doing good.
Yep.
I'm not concerned with what they say because most of the time the people talking about you aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
They don't have anything going on.
Yep.
But to watch you. And another thing is the more haters you got, means you're doing something.
Yeah,
man.
if you don't have any haters,
need 'em.
man, you're not doing something
feed off
right.
of them.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I never fight back. I let my work, my personality, the things I got going speak for itself.
Yep.
I don't need to be out bragging. I don't need to, and I used to.
Yeah.
You know, I used to brag. I used to, you know, I got.
It's
this,
hard not to when
that.
you come from, you know, you come from not having
nothing.
it to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. So now I just let my work speak for itself, and I try to be more like God every day.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll never be perfect like Him, but as long as I try to be more like Him every day, I just know my life is going to get better. I wish that you've got a heads up on people because I'm 42 years old and I'm just realizing all this.
Yeah.
You know, and you're coming really far at a really young age, just like Braden. You guys really got a leg up, and the sky's the limit, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know it's a blessing, man. I think about it sometimes, like, you know, I'm 25 and I'm doing, you know, better than 99% of people ever do in their lifetime, and it's still
1,000%.
It's still hard to wrap my head around it sometimes, especially like what I came from, and you know, I feel like I matured really early, just going through a lot of things. You know what I mean? I know, like you know, your prior life and, you know, things you did and, you know, going down and everything. You know, I grew up, you know, my dad's a drug addict, you know, on and off drugs my entire life. So, you know, what comes along with that, you know, the things you see and the things you go through, you know, really like I really changed like dramatically. Like my dad and my best friend, they overdosed like 3 weeks apart. And it was after that's when like, you know, kind of flip switched, I guess. And then I was like, man, like it's more to life than what I'm doing now.
Are they
You know what
still
I mean?
alive or?
No, they both passed away
Oh,
3 weeks apart.
wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I went through a whole lot real young, and it completely changed me. So like I feel like, you know, people say, oh, you got to where you're going fast, you know, you're young, but I feel like that's you know, kind of matured me to where I'm at. You know, you went to, you know, prison and things like that, and that changed you.
Absolutely.
So you know, I think that's a big part of it too. Braden over here, I don't know what's up with Braden. He just came out the womb like 16 years old or
Yeah,
something.
he's that gem, boy.
Yeah,
He's yeah.
I knew Braden for like almost 2 years, and I didn't realize how young he was. And I invited him to like the 906, you know, cigar lounge, and he was like, I can't go, bro. I'm 20. I'm like, you're 20. I'm known for like 2 years. I'm like, you're 3 years. I'm like, we're 20. What do you mean you can't come? So
Just show him your ID and pass it behind.
yeah, he can go now, so we're good. But yeah, man, it's definitely a blessing, man. And then just being able, like a huge part lately, like I've been able to do is just like employ people, and that's like, you know,
Man,
amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. That's
you know,
my calling.
like I love it, dude. Like I have a buddy that works for me now. He's actually my client for almost 3 years. And I hired him, and he just had a kid 3 months ago. So he's got like a newborn. He's working overnight security. And then, you know, I offered him that job, and then now he gets to be at home all day, you know, do his thing. Just being able to do things like that, man, like that's like, you know, just super fulfilling. I'm like just grateful for it. You know what
It's
I
my
mean?
favorite thing, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like God put me here and has given the things I am to employ people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what you've got to realize is with every one of those guys, say how many people does he got kids
Yeah. So like him, he has a 3 month old now.
and a wife?
Yeah, and a wife.
So that's three people.
Yeah.
So three people dependent on you.
Yep.
You know, so and I want to be dependent on because these guys hold me together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they give me a reason, just like my wife and daughter give me a reason.
Exactly.
You know, I have a reason to be here.
Got a lot of people counting on you.
Yes, and I'm just getting started, man. I hope to employ so many more one day. It goes right back to a lot of people saying, you know, when's enough, what's enough, because you know I could stop, I could quit today and give everything away, and I'm still gonna have enough for me and my family for the rest of time.
Yeah.
But I want generational wealth. I want my great grandkids
Yeah.
to feel success that I've worked so hard for.
Exactly.
I don't know of anyone in my family that's ever made it this far. You know, my mom did really well once we were all out of the house and grew. That's where our trucking company, my mother owned the trucking company that me and Chris own now. So she ended up, once we were out of the house, she was able to, you know, come up and use her money and her knowledge in the trucking business and start her own thing.
Dang, that's
But I
amazing.
just came from a long line of, you know, my dad and grandpa owned a transmission shop, great people, worked hard,
Yeah.
just not a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
In
Same.
transmissions. And I started R&R at 14 and worked for them for several years. That's where my love for cars came from.
Yeah.
But I knew real quick I didn't want to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not for me. And I look at what I've got now in this place, and it's surreal for me. I still pull up in this parking lot every day, and I'm at wow that it's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's like you never can really fully wrap your head around it. I feel like,
No.
I know at least for me, I'm just like, man, like sometimes I'll just be in my house. I'm like, man, I'm living in a nicer place than I ever lived, you know, and growing my childhood. I shared a room with my little brother till I graduated high school. You know what I mean? And even my little brother, he just, like, we were just talking the other day. He's like, man, like, you know, I just come to your house sometimes. I'm like, man, like, this is really nice. You know what I mean? Like, just things like that. You know, I got my little brother's dream car. You know,
Is
that
he the
was
one I met?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
That
Nice,
was
bro.
nice. So my little brother saved me so many times, man. Like there was times where I wasn't gonna be able to pay the rent. You know, the mentorship I got in that really elevated me. He loaned me money for that. And I always told him, hey man, I'm gonna make it one day. When I do, I'm gonna make sure you get your dream car.
And that's
So
what it's all about,
yeah, that's
bro.
what it's all about. It's like that's the thing too, is like, you know, people want to get successful or make money to have the nice cars or to have the jewelry or whatever. That's not going to be enough on those days when you don't feel like doing something and it gets
Man.
hard. That's not going to be enough to push you. So I realized I had to set, you know, big goals. Okay. And I want to retire my grandparents. I want to, you know what I'm saying, make sure my family's good. My little brother's taken care of, both my little brothers, you know, things like that. And then even going forward now, it's like the goalpost has to move. You have to keep that hunger. So, you know, now I get to that next level. It's like, okay, now what I want to do, I want to be able to, you know, maybe do charities or do this or employ this amount of people. Like, you know, you always got to keep that hunger. And if it's selfish, it's not going to last.
It's not. And you know what? One thing you'll realize too is like I always wanted the Rolex and the
Yeah.
chains and the cars,
Me
you know,
too.
and I still love them. I really I enjoy having them.
Yeah.
But you get there and then you realize, man, there's way more than this. This wasn't what it was about.
Yep.
You know, with you speaking, I wasn't going to say anything because I try not to talk about a lot of the things I do, but I think it's important because I feel like it encourages other people to want to do it too.
Yeah.
But this week, you know, my father passed away about 4 years ago. My stepmother's been living in the same trailer that I grew up in on the weekends and holidays. Was just infested with black mold. She had to move out, you know, a couple years ago and has been living in this little bitty camper.
Yeah.
So Monday, I got Extreme Dirt. Shout out to Extreme Dirt. Went out there, demolished the trailer. Went over here to Sue White. Shout out to Josh at Sue White. And bought her a brand new trailer, and they're setting it tomorrow.
That's fire, man.
And that's the stuff that that's what drives me, bro.
Exactly.
You know, because honestly, growing up, I would have never even have thought that I would have a trailer as nice as I bought her yesterday.
Yeah.
Ever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And now that I'm able to do that for her, and give my stepmother, you know, all my family's gone, but to give my stepmother a place now that's gonna get her through the rest of her years, is just huge for me, man. I love it. It means more to me than a Ferrari. It means more to me than a Lambo, a McLaren. Maybe not a Bugatti, but no, I'm just kidding.
No, 100%, man. That's what it's all about, man. And like when it's like that, man, you always have that hunger and that ambition to go to the next level. You know, me, like I'm doing great. I need to go to the next level because even though I'm doing great, well, I can't really bless these other people over here like I want to yet. You know what I mean? So that always keeps me going.
And God's going to continue blessing you with these blessings.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is when you do things like this, God sees what you're doing with your money.
Exactly.
And he sees what you're doing with your life, and he's going to feed you more and give you more so you can help more people.
Exactly.
God's going to give to the giving hearts.
Exactly.
That's what he wants. I mean, that's what he teaches us.
Yeah.
You know, give. And I went through a greedy time in my life when I was younger. I felt like everybody owed me something because I didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't do things for people.
Yeah.
But now today, my favorite thing is giving.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? It's
Me too.
my absolute favorite thing in the world is giving and helping people.
Yeah, me too,
I
man.
just love it.
That's my favorite thing. I'm just, you know, just always I'm trying to get to that next level so I can bless more people. Like that's the main thing because, you know, like I said, like being able to employ people and giving them a, you know, better life and things like that, like that's the most fulfilling. And they, you know, I had like guys like cry, you know, I offer them job or whatever to do this or that, and they're like, man, like you can't believe it. You know what I mean? They like my client that just had a kid and everything. He's like, dude, like I maybe see my son like a couple hours a week because when he's leaving out to work at 12 a.m. or whatever, he's sleeping and then he's back to work and, you know, wife doing it all by herself. So just being able to employ him and him being at home. Like, you know, I actually went up to Oklahoma City where he lives when I was competing and went and met with him and everything. And his wife, she just, talking about how happy she is. He's home now. She gets help. She's like, life's so much
big,
easier.
man. Yeah.
Like that stuff is
Especially
like,
with a baby at home.
yeah, like that stuff's worth more than any car, any watch or jewelry. Like this stuff's cool, but like that's what, it is that really fulfills you.
The awesome thing is we can have it all.
Yeah, yeah, and that too, right? That too. You got to spoil yourself a little bit, for your hard work. But yeah, that was great.
Well, bro, I really appreciate you having on today. Today's been honestly my with me, Dylan. I've been battling depression and anxiety so bad, bro. And the last couple of weeks, I felt really good. This is honestly the first show that I've had no anxiety. I was super excited for today.
Yeah.
And it shows me that my life is getting better because I was getting stuck in the anxiety thinking, is this how it's always going to be?
Yeah.
So today is also important to me to have you here because I just made it through a host show and all morning long with no anxiety,
Fire.
no depression. And it just goes to show that, I'm getting better and this too will pass.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's super exciting. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put all of Zane's information up on this. And just thank you again.
I appreciate you, man.
Man.
I always like to pick your brain about things, man. You're where I want to be, so I really appreciate it.
Well, I see you going way further than where I'm at. And if there's anything I can do to encourage or help or mentor, I'm definitely here for you.
Yeah, man, it's much appreciated, man.
Well, guys, thanks for watching the Travis Yarbrough Show. Until next time, praise God.